Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, before we get into this, someone in the comments has just told me something. I mentioned earlier that something shady was going on with YouTube and the subscribers. And he's told me that he just checked and that it actually unsubscribed him from the channel. He didn't do it. It had automatically done. So if you're one of my, quote, subscribers, do check. Just check now to make sure you're still subscribed. There seems to be something going on with YouTube, and that's why they had the drop in subscribers earlier. So it seems that it's automatically sort of auto unsubscribed from people. So just please go check, make sure you are. And if you aren't subscribed at all and you never have been, it's also the perfect opportunity to hit that button and join us on the journey towards the truth. Now, this video, there is a saying that if you take care of the pennies, the pounds take care of themselves. Well, this particular penny, I think she's quite capable of taking care of herself. And she's certainly more than capable of dealing with the likes of Pete Wishart. I'm just going to go straight into it. There's two news articles. One was going to be one thing, and then there's this, which has appeared, which is kind of the rebuttal to the first. So I'm going to go first into the first one about Pete Wishart, and then we're going to do Penny Mordaunt. Here goes. Right, now I'm not going to go into depth with these, but because there's the two of them, but they are absolutely sort of, how can you put it? Point and counterpoint, cause and effect, two sides of the same coin, if you will. And basically, you get one guy opening his mouth to say one thing, and then it's going to be pushed and shoved right down his throat. Anyway, Pete Wishart is sick of the Tories bringing up the A9 failure as the SNP member blames bad driving for deaths. So it's victim blaming. He's blaming the victims again. It's the SNP way. But we know the road is dangerous. Experts have said the road is dangerous. You've had transport people who've inspected the road and says it absolutely needs to be dualled, given the importance of the road, the volume of traffic on the road, everything. Everyone said this needs to be dualled. The only people who say they don't want it dualled are the Greens, which means the SNP are too scared, and so they won't dual it because they don't want to upset the Greens, because after all, it is a Green government in Scotland, and it's filled with wishy-washy people who don't have any strength of character, like Pete Wishart. Anyway, then that MP made the claims on stage in Aberdeen, where he was joined by an SNP MSP who was trying to convince the party that it was not true that the project was a failure. Even though it's 16 years of SNP government, they've only dualled 2 out of the 11 sections. I could have done it myself quicker than that. Pete Wishart has told the SNP conference he is sick and tired of hearing Scottish Conservatives talk about the failure of his party to dual the A9 and the A96. Certainly the A96. It's a dog of a journey going from Inverness to Aberdeen. On the stage on the final day of the NAT conference, the Perth and North Perthshire MP shared the stage with Emma Roddick, another bonkers one, isn't she, who called it a lie that the SNP was guilty of breaking a promise to finish the project by 2025. Of course it's a lie. You've got a year to go. You've only done 2 out of the 11 sections. You've got no plans to go on further because the Greens have said no, and so you're going, oh, we can't do it. So of course it's a lie. You're lying. You're lying liars. Anyway, rather than saying that, oh, it's not their fault for not finishing it, they're blaming all these deaths on bad drivers. They are saying it's victims' faults, not theirs, right? And of course, it's absolutely rubbish. So Scottish Conservative Shadow Transport Minister Graham Simpson told Scottish Express with relationship to this story, myself and my colleagues are not going to apologise for continually highlighting the SNP's overwhelming failures to dual the A9. And if that's annoyed Pete Wishart, then that says more about him than us. With deaths on the A9 at a 20-year high, the SNP need to get on with finally delivering on their promise rather than moaning about being scrutinised. And then there's others getting their chips in there, blah, blah, blahing. And that's fine. So there he is. There he is. This is an obnoxious turd that calls himself Pete Wishart. Shart anyway. He's a shart of shite, isn't he? And he sits there and says it's the driver's fault that people are dying. It's nothing to do with the fact that the road has been designated as a dangerous road. No. victim blaming. What a tosser, right? There we go. We're going to do that. So we all know what he is, what he's like. So I'm just going to flick across now to this story from Penny Mordaunt, the Magician's Apprentice, right? Penny Mordaunt, we call her that in case you didn't know. Some might not know this. Before entering politics, she used to be a magician's assistant. You know, all that sort of stuff. Ta-da! You know, little outfits with her feathers and things. And I've got her. She's a very attractive lady. That's all I'm going to say. No more on that. Anyway, Penny Mordaunt in brutal put down. I liked her at the coronation. She looked like something out of Game of Thrones. Marvellous. Anyway, Penny Mordaunt in brutal put down of SNP MP Pete Wishart, as she describes his A9 rant as a speckled-flecked monologue. Good old Penny. She gets up every week and she just rips the SNP a new one every week. I mean, I'm surprised. I am surprised that the SNP even bother turning up. Oh, God, it's Penny. Quick, get Scarpa, you know. She doesn't take prisoners. Love it a bit. Not that I say I love, you know, the Tory party or anything, but I liked Penny Mordaunt. I don't know what it is about her. Anyway, the leader of the House of Commons also attacked UK Labour for lying down with the SNP to help with their push for a second independence referendum, much against the majority of Scots. Anyway, Penny Mordaunt made her return from the Westminster recess to dominate business questions, as she accused UK Labour of lying down with the SNP and helping them gain another independence referendum. And she also pointed out that the massive role the UK as a whole plays during a humanitarian crisis like the one in Palestine, and the UK government having invited thousands upon thousands of Palestinians to come over and become Scottish nationals. I don't know how they're going to treat them, because they can't treat the Scots. How they're going to treat Palestinians in the hospitals, no one knows. Anyway, instead of her usual jousting with nationalist MP Deirdre Brock, she backed her call for a positive outcome for the family of Humza Yousaf, who are trapped in Gaza. She also claimed that the UK government already does a huge amount to support refugee programmes in response to calls for her to back a worldwide refugee scheme across the country. We are not the policemen of the world, and we don't have the facilities. We're a small country. We're a small island off Europe. There are much bigger countries where all these people can go to. Much bigger, very low populated countries that these people could go to. They don't have to keep coming here. She also criticised, here we go, SNP MP Pete Wishart, not the stupidest man in the SNP. Not far off it, but he's not the stupidest man, because even he recognised that Humza Yousaf's plan for the majority of seats was absolutely bonkers. So we'll give Pete Wishart a little bonus 5 on his IQ. Gets him up to about 70 now, okay? Anyway, she criticised him for his spittle-flecked monologue moaning about Scots who'd been complaining about the Scottish government's failure to dual the A9. She urged them to get on with upgrading the most dangerous road in Scotland. And of course, it's still going to be, and it's always going to be, until it's repaired, or until it's dualled. It's going to take more and more lives. And then they're talking about other things there, which I'm not going to do. It's just general business in the House. Anyway, Miss Mordaunt was also scathing. Here we go. This is the other half. Miss Mordaunt was also scathing in her criticism of nationalist MP Mr Wishart, who was pulled up by the Scottish leader Douglas Ross over his comments about the A9 during the SNP conference. We previously told how he told delegates that he was sick and tired of listening to the Tories constantly bringing it up in Parliament as if they own the issue. Well, no, you're the ones who said you'd do it, and you haven't done it. If you don't like being held to account, don't announce things for which you can be held to account. Mr Ross mentioned how the route between Perth and Inverness is crucial for Scots, and that the SNP's dualling pledge had been broken. And he asked for a debate at the House of Commons to be announced so that Mr Wishart can stand up for his constituents, rather than sitting down and supporting the SNP government's failure. And the leader of the House responded, I did happen to see, should I describe it as a spittle-flecked monologue, criticising members of the general public in Scotland for daring to exercise or voice their disappointment at the quality of the A9 and other road infrastructure. My advice to the honourable member for Perth and North Perthshire is, if he doesn't want the public to continually complain about things, he can dual those roads. This is a project that has been long overdue, and the public should actually get decent roads for the taxes they're paying. Thank you, Penny. Hold them to account and keep doing it. She's one of the good ones, I think. Is it just because I fancy her? I don't know. I don't know. But there is much there to fancy. Anyway, I shall stop and I shall come up and I shall get myself off my little fantasy of me and Penny Mordaunt. And Kate, of course. Kate Forbes. That's the other one. I tell you, I'm not going through the middle-age crisis or anything. I've had that. Bought me motorbike and everything. Ah, dear, it's just, I don't know. Women in power, perhaps. Coming up. Yeah, that's what she said. So, how to round this off? I mean, there's 2 points to make, I think. First of all, Pete Wishart is an obnoxious wee shit. Fancy victim blaming. People have died. Families destroyed. And yet he blames the victims. He blames bad driving on a road that is recognisably dangerous. Does the man have no sort of humanitarian feelings at all? People who've lost sons, daughters, husbands, wives on that road listen to Pete Wishart blaming the drivers. He's a disgusting piece of human filth, really, isn't he? And Penny Mordaunt is right to call him out on it. And it is just a rant. What he knows is, he gets angry because he knows his party have failed. He knows he's in the wrong, but he can't accept it himself. And so he gets angry to try and deflect the fact that he's actually self-loathing. Well, don't worry, Pete. You don't have to worry about being self-loathing, because there's plenty of us who loathe you too, you disgusting piece of inhumane filth. The words I want to say, I can't say. I'll be off YouTube quick as you like. But anyway, there he is. And it's good of Penny to describe him thus. And of course, she attacks him every week. She's worth the admission price alone, really, Penny. No, it isn't just a fancy bit here. I mean, genuinely. She every week she stands in, every week she just looks down and picks on the SNP. But then it's so easy. It's not even sport, to be honest. And I know Mary Black absolutely loathes Penny Mordaunt. Because Penny Mordaunt is everything she's not. She's intelligent, liked, respected, clean. Anyway, I will stop there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has enlightened you. I think it certainly enlightened you as to my proclivities. But we can keep that a secret, and I'll let my wife make sure my wife doesn't watch this one. She knows. Of course she does. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, stay well, and yeah, double check your status there. There's a lot of people due to the shadiness here of YouTube being slowly unsubscribed. I think it's because we're a channel that speaks truth, and they don't like that. So yeah, just double check your status, and if you haven't ever subscribed, like I say, now's the time. Hit the button and join us as we keep on pushing the truth. Thank you very much, and goodbye.